Hi, my name is Karen. I am the founder of Karen Newton International, where you learn about wealth, income, and lifestyle. And I specialize in teaching people how to start online businesses with absolutely no money and then invest their profits into property, shares, and bullion. So, bullion is gold and silver, precious metals. And today I'm going to talk to you about niche, or if you're American, niche. So apologies if the sound is not quite what you're used to, but niche is how I will be pronouncing this throughout this video. Anyone who is successful online has a niche, and identifying what that niche is comes down to you. And when I mean that comes down to you, what is your speciality? What do you know most about? What are you comfortable talking about or explaining to other people? What is a hobby? Okay, all these things can be broken down into what is called a niche. So, for example, I love explaining golf. Uh, I don't play golf myself. As a kid, my parents took me to a golf course. I am a tennis player, and when they put me on a golf course, that ball off a tee just trickled across the ground. Okay, I decided I could not play golf. But golf is a great analogy for me to explain what a niche is. So if you play golf, you've got a game of golf, you have clothing, you have certain shoes, you have clubs that you hit the ball with, you have rules that you follow, you go on to all these different courses. There's a whole range of products and services that come together to allow someone to go and play golf. Now, if you wanted to run an online business around golf, it is such a broad topic that you would not be able to cover everything about it. But you could specialize in one area of this. So if you are into golf shoes, for example, you could write, you could build a niche business around golf shoes. What's the latest technologies? What's the best golf shoe? You could work on the comfort of it, how flexible, how durable, all that sort of thing. You could build a niche around the golf shoe. Another aspect of what you could do with golf is if you are someone who likes to travel, uh, you could make a point of visiting on your travel golf courses. And so you could write about your experience of visiting a golf course, how friendly they were, how well kept the golf course was, what it cost you to go and play golf. And that is a niche. It's a travel niche around golf. Now, another explanation of niche is what I do. Okay, so I teach people how to build an online business and then invest their profits into property, shares, and bullion. However, my particular niche is that I help people start with absolutely no money. I find ways to be able to start an online business at no cost. I find ways to get into property investing at no cost or at very little cost for property investing. Okay, so I'm a wealth coach, but I'm not telling people to go and invest 5,000, 10,000, 100,000. I start by telling people how to start with absolute zero. Okay, so my niche is how to build an online business and invest your profits starting with no money. So, what are things that you are interested in? What are things that you feel you could create a niche around? Now, niche is very important because, as I said, there are so many people out there. If you picked golf as a topic, there are so many people out there who probably know a lot more about golf than you do. But if you're someone that can narrow down into one small area of golf, then you can become the specialist, the go-to expert in that area. Now, as I said, if you were to do like a travel blog that is based around visiting golf courses, and that is your experience of visiting that golf course, then nobody can do it better than you. Nobody can say your experience is better than you can. Right? So whatever you are doing, it's all about what you can bring to the table. Now, when we talk about niche, we are not trying to get into this very high level of the topic. We want to get into a very narrow, lower down level. That means that if someone is putting in a search for, say, we're going to keep going with the golf analogy. If somebody was saying, for example, what are the best golf courses in Murcia? I live in Spain, in Murcia region, so I'm going to use Murcia as the example. Right. What are the top 10 golf courses in Murcia? Right. You could visit Murcia and you could go around all the golf courses. There's 23 of them here. And you could visit each one of those sites. You could write about it, your experience. You could rate it if you wanted to. And that would be a niche, so that when people are doing a search on playing golf in Murcia, you would be right up there at the top because that is your specialist area. You don't have to compete with people who spend hundreds of thousands every month on advertising. You specialize in this very small area about what are the best golf courses that I visited. Oh yeah, what are the best golf courses I visited in Murcia? That is basically a niche. That is what gets you to the top of the rankings so that someone will look at your website, and then what you're going to be doing is having links to products and services. You will have advertising on your website. You could be running a paid for newsletter. There's lots of ways you can actually monetize what it is you do. And if you do YouTube, TikTok, if you created videos, then the higher your following becomes, then the more money you can make off those um, videos. So you've got lots of different sources of income, and that's something I'll be covering in later videos, is how you can actually create those different levels of income and monetize a website. But for now, we're looking at what is the niche. So an exercise to do is to actually sit down, make a list of all the things that you know, and then what is the thing that you would most like to do from there? What do you think that you could create 100 blogs, 100 videos? Because let's be honest here, the numbers game is what brings in people to your website. Okay, if you are writing one blog, you're putting one sales page out on a website, you will not get that traffic. The algorithms on Google are aimed at visitor experience. How good is that visitor experience? So you need to have a topic that you can actually write a lot about. So take the time to sit down, think about all the things you do, things you are interested in, your hobbies, or something that you would like to do as a business, and make that a niche that you can then create online. Now, what I would say to a lot of people is this imposter syndrome does tend to come up, and they say, look, I don't know enough to be going out and telling people all about playing golf. I don't play golf. Right? But you can talk about the golf site or your visits to the golf site or whatever your hobby or interest is. You always speak from your experience. There will always be people who know less than you do. So initially, if you're starting here, well, imagine there's lots of different ladders here. You're starting right here at the bottom. There's going to be people beneath you who are interested in starting what you do, but don't know how to do that. So there will always be someone who wants your skill, your knowledge, your information, whatever it is that you are offering. So you have a knowledge base, a skill that you could put online. Now, the thing about this is that as you start doing this, your knowledge increases. And so you then increase the potential of clients that you can bring into your website. And then your knowledge increases a bit more as you keep delving into things and coming out and learning and researching for your blogs and your videos. And then you do exactly the same thing. So this audience base is always going to get bigger and bigger and bigger the more effort you put in and the more you are learning about your topic. And the more you learn about your topic, the more you can write or create videos about it. Now, for an example, okay, I consider myself a tech challenge person. However, yeah, I create websites. I work on websites. I create those websites. I go and find software. I might not understand the ins and outs of software, but I know how to use it. I take the time to learn how to use that piece of software. I know how to get my domain. I know how to point my domain to somewhere else. Now, I didn't always know those things. As I said, I consider myself tech challenged. However, my level of knowledge has become higher and higher and higher as I've been building my websites and creating my online presence. There are a lot of people who do not know any of that. And so I am able to help them to go through the steps and the learning that I also had to go through. So I don't need to be an absolute expert who can tell you to go and write code and do this and do that. Uh, I have no knowledge of any of that whatsoever. But I can simply tell you, go and click on this link and do steps in here, and that will get you to the next level. So I'm able to bring people up as I'm learning more and I build more and more websites as I take on a lot more of this myself to actually grow my own online businesses, then I'm able to share what I'm learning with other people. So my knowledge increases and it increases the audience that I can actually present to. So whenever you're thinking of imposter syndrome, it's not there. It's something you have up here that's preventing you from doing what you want to do, and that is just an excuse. So my suggestion to you is go and find a niche. Go and find something that you are really interested in doing. And I will be back in a later video to show you how to take this to the next step.